We have all the major updates of mixed martial arts, starting with the news Dillon Danis reveals inside reason behind Mike Tyson's fight postponement. As we know, Mike Tyson's health is deteriorating and the upcoming fight has been postponed. Interestingly, Dillon Danis has shed some light on the situation. According to Danis, he spoke to a close friend of Mike Tyson's who is aware of what's happening but has chosen not to get involved out of respect for Tyson. Danis expressed that the situation is truly sad and implied that something serious is wrong with Mike Tyson. It seems like Dillon Danis is trying to imply that there's some kind of personal issue affecting Mike Tyson's ability to participate in the fight, and he's criticizing Jake Paul for not being more supportive or taking action to help his opponent. This is the only update on this matter. By the way, what do you think about this? An interesting update has come out regarding Charles Oliveira and Neymar. Recently, Neymar organized an auction in Brazil to help children, and Charles Oliveira was also present. Amid this, news emerged that a Russian fan paid $95,000 for a special experience with UFC fighter Charles Oliveira. Fan will get the chance to watch Oliveira train, travel to his next fight, and see him cut weight before the fight. He will also join Oliveira's team afterward. The package includes 2 tickets to the fight. Currently, the UFC has not announced when Oliveira's next fight will be. Oliveira lost his last fight in April. In my last video, I mentioned the possibility of Conor McGregor's fight with Chandler being canceled due to McGregor's injury. Now, there are clear signs from the UFC confirming this. Recently, both ESPN and the official UFC accounts have removed all content related to Conor McGregor and UFC 303, suggesting some tension surrounding McGregor's status in the UFC. Moreover, the cancellation of the Dublin press conference further hints at McGregor's uncertain situation. As a result, it's becoming increasingly likely that McGregor won't be facing Chandler. Instead, the UFC might consider Charles Oliveira or another fighter as a potential opponent. There's also speculation about the match being canceled or postponed. Altogether, there hasn't been much additional news on this topic recently. We'll have to wait and see what happens next. Arman Tsarukyan shared his thoughts on Dustin fight with Islam. Arman revealed that he was surprised by Dustin looking tired in the first round and wondered why Dustin seemed to give up near the end of that fight. Look what Arman actually said.
Первый раунд прошел в сторону Макхачева, я думал, блин, на туре это мешок конченый этот парень. Потом смотрю, что-то включился, и Ислам подустал, и уже бой был поинтереснее. Он меня удивил, честно говоря. Мне больше удивил Ислам, почему он так быстро устал и не мог бороть. В принципе, как мы знаем, что Ислам в пятираундовых боях не так хорошо дышит. Это второй его пятираундовый бой, и он отдает концовки. Я думаю, что... Мне интересно, откуда он нашел силы на удушку, но мне такое чувство, что Поирье просто взял и сдался. В плане того, что морально сломался. Там оставалось 2,5 минуты. Ну зачем ты свою шею отдаешь? Ну перетерпи, перекрутись, усни, что-нибудь сделай, но не сдавайся. Что там осталось 2,5 минуты? Твой крайний бой, можно сказать, самый важный крайний бой в твоей жизни. Ты берешь и так, просто так отдаешь его, я не знаю. Я бы так просто не отдал бы этот бой.
Recently, Dana White voiced his criticism of Islam's pound-for-pound #1 ranking, asserting that John Jones holds that title. And just recently, Michael Bisping shared his thoughts on the matter. Let's see what he said.
Look at the matchups. If Islam Makhachev can move up to 155 and he can dethrone Leon Edwards, a man that you could say is a striker, that's a tailor-made opponent, well then they'd probably be on a level playing field. They will probably have the exact same record. And if John Jones can go out there and beat Stipe Miocic, who's the greatest heavyweight of all time is what they say, and then can beat Tom Aspinall, and I've been saying it for a long time, that's a big if. That's the big question. Is John even the best heavyweight right now? Well, on paper, he is the champion. On paper, he's the best light heavyweight we've ever seen. And on paper, he is the best pound-for-pound #1 fighter on the planet. And I know it sounds like I'm being dismissive of Islam Makhachev. No, I am not. I am a huge fan. What he just did against Dustin Poirier, that was the best Dustin Poirier we've ever seen. That was Dustin Poirier trying for the third and final time to become the lightweight champion of the world. A man that's been in there with the style of someone like Islam, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and learned from those losses. He's fought for the belt on numerous occasions, and from those losses you get better, you get more experience. And Islam was still able to beat him. And when you look at the record, of course, it's a beautiful record, 26-1. The one loss came via a flash knockout over Adriano Martins. He got caught. Things happen, okay? Islam has also got better. The striking at UFC 302 against Dustin Poirier was beautiful. The narrative was, if Dustin can force him to stand, he's going to get knocked out, okay? But guess what? Islam was only successful out of 5 out of 15 takedown attempts, which meant Islam had to stand. And he was able to beat Dustin on the feet. The striking of Islam Makhachev was absolutely beautiful. The way he mixed it up, the way he didn't load up on shots, the combinations he put together, the double jab right hands, knees to the body, all the rest of it, you name it. It was great, it was slick, it was quick, it was fast, okay? The man's phenomenal. I am not knocking Islam Makhachev. But when you look at the competition, he just beat Dustin Poirier. 2 fights before that, 2 fights in a row, he fought Alexander Volkanovski, who granted, yes, he was the pound-for-pound #1 on the planet. But he was also a featherweight. In the first fight, there was discussion whether or not he beat Volkanovski. I thought that he did. In the second one, of course, he knocked him out in round 1. No discussion there. But Alexander Volkanovski was a featherweight. Before that, he beat Charles Oliveira. Of course, Charles Oliveira was the man, defeating everybody. But he has lost many times before. He took him down in round 2, choked him out, made it look easy, ended the reign of Charles Oliveira. Before that, it was Bobby Green. I'm a big fan of Bobby, great fighter. But, you know, we're talking pound for pound on the planet here. I'm not knocking Bobby Green, but it was Bobby Green, Dan Hooker, Thiago Moises, Drew Dober, Davey Hamosh. When you compare that side by side with the record of John Jones, and granted this was a long time ago, but we're talking people like Shogun Hua, Quinton Jackson, Lyoto Machida, Rashad Evans, Vitor Belfort, Chael Sonnen, Alexander Gustafsson, Glover Teixeira, Daniel Cormier, Vincent Prue, DC, Gustafsson again, Anthony Smith, Thiago Santos, Dominic Reyes, and then Cyril Gane. Right, granted, long time ago. The man is still fighting though. He is still fighting. I do believe that currently the pound-for-pound #1 on the planet is John Jones.
Recently, Islam offered Oliveira the chance to come to Dagestan to learn wrestling skills, given the region's renowned wrestling reputation. In response, Oliveira graciously thanked Islam, but affirmed his commitment to training solely at Shootboxe. He expressed contentment with Islam's comments and praised his performance at UFC 302, acknowledging him as a true champion. "I'm grateful for Islam's kindness in inviting me to train with him in Dagestan, but I am only part of Shootbox. I have no intention of training anywhere else. I'm happy with everything," he said. He had a great fight at UFC 302 and demonstrated that he is the champion. Dustin Poirier returned home to Lafayette, Louisiana after his fight at UFC 302. Here's the clip.
How great does it feel to have all these people here?
It's incredible, man. I love Lafayette. The support is amazing, man. I love it.
How was the flight?
Good. Well, we got delayed a few times, but we're back. I'm back home. Back
What do you have to say to all these
Good
people?
to see you. God bless you, man. Thank you, brother. God bless you. Thank you, everyone, for coming out. I appreciate it so much, man. It means the world to me. You know. Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Love you, man.
In a recent discussion about UFC 302, Stephen Anthony Smith didn't hold back in his criticism of Islam Makhachev, boldly stating, "Conor McGregor has no business being in the octagon against a grappler."
Shannon, I was in Vegas for the Conor McGregor Khabib Nurmagomedov fight. It was one of the greatest events I've ever attended in my life. It was unreal, okay?
Oh, yeah.
But what we learned in that fight is that Conor McGregor has no business being in the octagon against a grappler, which is with Makhachev. I mean, this brother right here, he's something special. And he's not going to try to strike against Conor McGregor.